Well, I'm remembering a friend, Dena Bunis, who was a reporter for the Democrat and Chronicle in the early days of HIV, and she died March 12th, 2024. In her obituary, they called her esteemed journalist, editor, and mensch to all who knew her. And I called her Lois Lane because she was always looking for a story. She'd say, give me a story. Tell me what's going on in HIV world, in AIDS world. And this was in the 1980s during the peak of the epidemic, the darkest days. So she was just all over it. Going through some things, I found a bibliography of hers, links to the articles that she wrote in those early days. September 20th, 1986, Strong Hospital to offer promising experimental AIDS drug. That was AZT, the first drug that was available. And it was available at U of R Strong before it was approved, so we had access to this drug a year before everyone else. Also quoted in this article is Sue Cowell, at that time a nurse practitioner at the University of Rochester Health Services. So both Sue Cowell and Dena Bunis were this education partnership in terms of giving us the real story on the very first drug to be introduced to treat HIV. September 27th, 1987, a vaccine for AIDS possible. And she's talking about early optimism about an HIV vaccine. Now, we all know that after 40 years, we still aren't there, maybe a little bit closer these days. But still, talking about an AIDS vaccine very early in the course of all of this, and quoting University of Rochester and Strong Memorial Hospital leaders as supporting the idea and wanting to get involved in this kind of research. February 2nd, 1988, Bishops Clark and Burrell to lead services for AIDS patients. So here's a new twist on the AIDS story from Lois Lane. And in this case, she's talking about community activities that support people with AIDS. And interviews Jackie Nudd from AIDS Rochester, saying that this will be especially important to families who have lost loved ones to this deadly disease. Religious leaders in the community are stepping up to the plate, and there's Lois Lane, telling us about that experience. So what is Dena Bunis's AIDS legacy? What does that look like? Well, she informed people. She talked to people in a language that they could understand. A wide audience was reading this. And it was also very personal in terms of her interview of Bishop Burrell, who says that it's important that the religious community do this. So she brought it from the high-level research area to the local level, right down to the community and personal patient level. I say, Lois, a job well done. Rest well, my friend.